Hi everyone, this is tonight's live stream. Hopefully, I've noticed the last few nights that the sync for the audio from what you see and what you hear is a little bit off. We'll sort of see if this is any better tonight. I'm hoping that the audio for tonight is a little bit more in sync. So, if you've come to the previous nights that I've done this, or if you've watched the replays, you know that what I'm working on is a animated shot, and I'm working in Maya here, and I am using the audio from the 11-second club that they have for their February contest. I'm working on what's called the blocking phase now. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly. In this window, just as a quick recap, this window down here, let me move let's move this here. This window is my reference footage, so I sort of acted out the scene, and this is where I can sort of get a sense of how I might perform it, and that's, it's just strictly reference, right? And then in this window over here, this is my render window. So this is the This is the window where I have set up my my camera, and I've locked that down. And if you go back to the first night, I sort of talk about these camera angles and why I've chosen them and so forth, and delve into that process. And the audio here, I'm going to play it. So let's see what's a good way to do this. Maybe I'll play it with the reference footage. So we have our two characters sort of at a table on like a blind date. The audio is coming from the movie Ghostbusters, the 2016 version. And I'm having these two characters sort of interact. It's like this blind date that they're on, and they're sort of getting to know one another, and she's sort of got questions, and he's a little bit kooky. And I'm not wearing glasses in the reference footage, but you'll see in the animated shot the character does have glasses on. Oh, let me bring that up so you can see it. Ta-da, he has glasses. Okay. So, here's the reference footage. The audio is just, you're going to hear it off the camera here. So hopefully you can hear it all right. And less concerned with what my performance, what was like, am I getting perfect lip sync in my acting, where I'm mimicking the dialogue, and more just sort of like what are poses I hit, what are sort of little things I do, quirks, and then finding where I can reduce that down to sort of the essence of what the performance is. I'll play that now.
Do the actor thing. Work for...
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Work for...
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Work for...
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing.
Okay, so let me get that to stop here. All right, so that's the reference footage, and I'm going to go over to the shot as I've started to animate it. And what is happening here is sort of his opening pose, where it's sort of going from there. This is just a very rough initial, what we would call a blocking pass. Let me go into her pose. I have not done the hands, and that will be a big part of tonight's focus. And then his final part of the scene, which I've yet to pose out yet. So what I'm doing tonight, let me go back to my character stuff in the camera. I'm going to be working a little bit more on her. So I'm going to go to frame 56. And the shot ends on frame 155, I think, here. Yeah, 154. And I'm going to change my character set down to Aya. So the female character is named Aya, the male character is named Jules. These are rigs that I got from Animation Mentor. I'm an alumni there, and so I have access to their old and new rigs. And if you're interested in going to Animation Mentor, you might know that process. Ask me a question. I'm happy to tell you more about that. So let's take a peek. So I'm using something called the GUI picker, which I'm going to pull up here. This is actually on a separate window, but if you haven't seen this before, this is essentially a graphical reference of all of her joints that I can select. So if I was to turn on her curves, you can see them. If I, on the GUI picker, click on her head, I then have the control for her head. This is really easy because, as you can see, if you look at all the controls available to select, there is quite a number of them. I'm going to just make this GUI picker small. I don't know how useful it is to watch or not, but it's there regardless. Okay, so the way I tend to do this is I will use the perspective window here, turn off Jules so I don't have to look at him, and I will use this perspective window to help me, navigate. This is locked, this render window, so I cannot select that, this window above me. And down here is the graph editor, which I'm not really using so much right now, but we'll definitely be using that a lot once we get past the blocking phase. So one of my big goals with this shot is to really get the these poses, these initial poses, strong and solid. I spent a lot of the video from the other day. That other stream was really focused on getting her face posed out using all the controls available. So I'm just going to jump into this. I don't know if you really need to hear me talk about every single step here. I think it's better that if I just jump in and do some things, and if you're watching and you have a question, use the chat, and hopefully I will see it this time and I can respond. So, all right, let's just try to get some of these hands knocked out, right? Sometimes I would leave hands sort of to a little bit later, but I feel like they're really integral to this pose that she's doing. And one of the things I talked about yesterday was making sure that I'm not losing legibility in her pose here. And there was this discussion about, should I be moving her hands a little bit lower here so that they have a little bit better contrast with her body. This is tough because I think there's a big difference between, in her pose here, if she's got hands really close, that's just one thing, versus hands that are like down here. This feels more tight and uncomfortable and introverted, sort of. And putting the hands out in front of the body may have different legibility, but it changes sort of the intent of the pose to be, this is not a great camera angle, but if my hands are out here, I'm more open. If I'm pulled in, I'm more, yay. So this will be, if like everything in animation, in my experience, it is always a bit of do it and then fix it, and then fix it, and then fix it some more. So, all right. Now the real stress of this. So I have these hands in FK, and I think that'll be the best way to use these. Let's look at these. Oh, close this. Always something popping up. All right. So one of those moments we really have to think. Oh, let me make sure that all these joints selected. No. So I'm going to select all the hand joints. I'm going to make sure they are added to my character set. I got an error here, and that's probably because a lot of these joints are not actually on the character set. So I have some master cup controls, spread. So if I look at the reference, one of the things I think about that's great about this reference is like how sort of tight and smushed the hands are together. This is sort of why it's fun to shoot the reference, because you do things you don't realize that you're doing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these master joint controls. I'm going to add these to the character set. Hopefully that'll work. No, why not? Of course not. Oh, that's why. It's my fault. Great. And this way, key these. I'm trying to get all my main controls keyed in. I'm working in sort of step tangents right now. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that, but it's master fist control. You got to be really careful about. It opens up your hand, but boy, does it. Which can really cause some problems. The thumbs are always a disaster. Sometimes don't really know why I almost use some of the master controls. I feel like it can really cause a lot more trouble than you want. Okay, oh, hello. Going into her head. This is sort of the true thing about what I'm doing tonight is that I don't know really where I'm going to be going, how each video is going to be. You know, this is just a bit of an experiment for me as well, to just be animating and just live streaming it, especially because if you've done any animation, you're probably pretty aware that there's a lot of it that is just like I said before, corrections and corrections. And right now I'm also learning these rigs. I'm not super familiar with this rig. I haven't used this IR rig before. So this is sort of a little unique experience in and of itself. And alright, sort of really not digging into some of these master controls, so I'm gonna just pose these out a little bit more old school. Right. God, that wrist is not looking natural. It really breaks, and really, like the way the geometry is deforming, that's going to be problematic. So I'm going to have to fix this through the pose, probably going back to the elbow. To bring this hand up, and then use the shoulder controls to help me rotate this hand in a way that feels natural. I'm going to get rid of the rotation completely. Yeah. Try to get the palms right. And then I'm just going to go back and work on the fingers. I think what I'm going to do on these, I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to remove all of this rotation I've done on so the controls have these like master groupings to do like these types of things all together. And what's happening is I'm not really liking the way the hand is sort of shaping. You can see I select these by choosing here, let me do this. Let me pull the actual GUI picker into the real window here. These controls bring up these masters, and then I have all these little controls here, which are all the individual joints, and then even these tiny ones that allow some additional hand manipulation. I think that I'm going to go with using those because doing so, I'm going to bring the mini GUI representation up for you. I think doing so is going to just allow me to get a better pose, and that's sort of my goal here, is just to get really good poses. One second. Okay. This is going to mean, though, that there are all these joints in here. They are good. Okay. So I want to make sure that everything's part of like the character set, and that's not always the case. So, all right. Okay. Just trying to see how this is going to break down. Looking at my reference again. You know, looking at how it's like this bottom part of the hand is like really pushed out because it's where it's pressing. So I need to probably start with the palms here. And this is a very sensitive control, so let's do this. These, of course, are not in the character set. Add the rotations. Okay. Now I'm just going to work on just the fingers themselves. This is going to probably take some time. These joints are sort of flaring out. You know, they're getting this because they're pushing against one another. So I want to give that sort of feel and keep them sort of connected. And then, but of course, not make them look broken. We'll see how this goes. This might be a little bit of a risk to do it this way. Wouldn't be the first time I made a mistake if that's the case. Oh, I think that's going to come out a lot better. Yeah. And I'm going to take both of these and try to pull them up so they're following the line of the wrist. So the bones in his fingers, you know, where they connect, I want them to feel like it's this straight line. And you see this in the reference a little bit, how this sort of flows. So I want to get a pleasing curve there. And that's also going to mean that I'm going to probably change my wrists a bit too. Select both of them. Would be nice to do. Shift key, please work with me here. And I just want to get this hand a little less off center. All right. Oh, I have people here. Hi, people. Okay. Very exciting. People left a chat. All right, so now I know that I gotta not be a total idiot. Okay. Hi, Highlight Animations, and hi, Marcus. Okay. Hopefully you guys will find this somewhat interesting. And yeah. If you have questions about what I'm doing, just let me know. And I will do my best to try and answer them. Cool. All right, so just want to look at the reference footage. You see how these fingers are way through, and just so the pads are almost starting to flare out as they push against one another. So I want to try to capture that sense of connection with these other fingers. And I'm having this problem where I'm an idiot, and because my rig is sort of been flipped 180, when I look at my GUI picker and I see like the left hand or the right hand, they're the opposite of how the actual character looks on screen. Oh, there's a question. Can you lip sync your characters? Yes. I will be getting to that in a future video. Lip sync is one of my favorite things, and I think sort of what I wanted to do here, the whole reason I started deciding to do this live stream, was I had been working on this short film for a long time, and that was a really great experience. But my characters were they were like geometric shapes. There was a ball and a cube and a triangle and stuff like that, and so they had sync to them because they had lines of dialogue and so forth, but it wasn't like a traditional vocal lip sync. And one of the things I wanted to do, I was going to start a new short film, but I realized I really wanted to just go back and just do some fun animation, which I hadn't done in a while, and just do some shots for the sake of doing some shots. And I wanted to look at just doing some basic character animation, making some characters talk and act and perform and do stuff like that. Hello, I keep doing that. So what I wanted to do, and what's funny is that I think the video is out of sync with the audio, so lip sync is horrible in this part where I'm talking. But yeah, so one of the things I wanted to do is just go back and do some shots and follow sort of the audio that the 11-second club is giving out, which is every month they send out another piece of audio, and sort of challenge myself to say, okay, I'm going to animate one shot per month. I'm going to go through the different phases of just the initial blocking pass, which is what we're working on now, or what I'm working on now, I guess. And then and polish that, and then go through and actually do the final lip sync and final polish on the shot. So my hope is to be able to find enough stuff to talk about while I'm animating, so that it's not just people watching me work on a shot, but maybe you can sort of learn a little bit about the process, and you can learn a little bit about why I'm making some of the choices that I'm making, and that whole deal. So you let me know though if it's not useful, and what other stuff you want to know, and then I can try to figure out like how best to address that, so that I'm giving you like a reason to actually watch these videos. So I want to try to be helpful, and I did a lot of animation education, and I went to school for it, and I did Animation Mentor, and I did my short film like I mentioned before. But I then later ended up getting a job outside of animation that was paying me well enough to stop looking for animation work. So that's why I started working on the short film, because I love animation. It's like one of my big passions. So yeah. Okay. All right, so here's the question. If I'm not interrupting, can you show progress so far in the animation, like from the start? Yes, I can do that. Let me just try to quickly get a quick set of pose on this finger, just super fast. And then most certainly I can go through sort of like the main frames, and I can also maybe talk about where we are sort of in this process, so you can understand. And I'll recap some of the stuff I talked about the first night. All right, so this is very rough, but I think everyone is starting to see this come together. Okay. All right, so let me turn on Jules. Boom, hi Jules. All right, so I'll go to the full shot here, and I'll recap this. And what's happening is this is audio from Ghostbusters from 2016. It's just an 11-second clip, but that's the way the 11-second club works. And you just animate to that. So the first thing I did was went through, listened to the audio a bunch of times, and then I shot reference footage of myself sort of just doing a bunch of different takes of sort of acting out how would I maybe approach that scene if I was those actors in the scene. And looked at all that and took, oh, I like this little bit I did here, or oh, that was really bad, or that's whatever. And I then put that together so that I could use that as reference footage. And specifically with this shot, this has sort of a little bit of a sort of a quiet, like, subtlety. I actually haven't seen Ghostbusters from the 2016 Ghostbusters, so what that was sort of interesting to me because I had to think, like, what is happening in this scene? And to me, it was like, maybe it's like two people on a blind date. So I set it up so that they're at a table, as if they're just meeting one another for the first time, and he's trying to tell a little bit about himself and how kind of cool he is. But she's like, something's weird here. Like, what's going on? Like, why don't you have glass in your eyeglasses? And so what I did first here is, so I'll play the reference footage, and for anyone who's just jumping in now. All right, so here's the reference footage. Let me move this so you don't need to look at me, I guess, right now. And in the reference footage, you'll see it's just sort of I'm being a little casual, and then for her I have sort of this very tight body language, and then in the and then sort of I do like his little gestures for him. Now that I'm animating that, I'm going, okay, what was the main essence of that? Like, what was the pose that I hit? Like, what's the element that's the takeaway? And then you sort of animate within that. I think that one of the things that I certainly did in the past, and I see a lot of new animators and students do, is you have like a little tiny scene of dialogue, and it's like tons of things are happening, and it's like just you have like if you're doing a second, like you do a thing and you just say it. So all right, I'll play this now so you can see this, and it'll probably be a little stuttery on the stream, but you can get a sense.
Did the actor thing work for?
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore. Did the actor thing work for?
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore. Did the actor thing work for?
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
Okay, so that was the reference footage. And what I did next from this point is I blocked out sort of my scene and got my kind of camera together. So first thought was, how do I establish this shot really quickly without having to, spend a lot of time. I don't want to be outside a restaurant or outside a bar, like shooting through a window. I'm going to spend all my time, I'm going to spend all my time building a set that I don't want to spend time doing. I want to spend time animating these characters. So what is the least I can do to communicate the most amount of information? And so when I first set this up, It's like, okay, let me get these two characters. You can see both of them. You can see that they're at a table. There's a little candle here by her elbow, which I'll have to slightly adjust some of these camera angles now that the characters are being posed, and maybe her arm is sort of in the way, so I'll adjust this slightly. That's what this blocking phase is all about. I used a more like telephoto lens in terms of like what type of lens is my viewing through. That helps to give it the impression of them sitting closer to one another, although they are in reality, you know, a table distance apart. This more telephoto lens compresses that space to make it feel more intimate. Then we go to our next shot when she says, why no glass? And I switched this to be sort of over the shoulder for him. So you can still see that he's in the shot. She now is taking up the majority of this frame, so we can really read her face, read what she's doing. In the reference footage, I sort of do a lot of things with my hands, and I'm going to sort of cut that down to like what's the one thing, and then make that one thing really well animated. And you can see that the way this shot is set up is if I go to one frame back, right, her head is here, and when it toggles, her head is still here. So that helps to let you as a viewer, your eyes can sort of track the motion, which is really important for something that's going by really fast. And is sort of close cut, you know. And you don't have a lot of time to like linger on that shot because we have to cut back to him. So then we're going to cut back to him. So we can see that she's here, and then when I go back to him, and this will sort of need to be adjusted now that the blocking has changed, or the poses have been started to get posed, which we could do now, I guess. Why not? Let me unlock this camera. Unlock. And the idea here is to give him as much space to work in as a character. Let's make this like 60. But she's still in the frame, so you're not totally losing like where she is. Probably have to move her up a bit. And over. And this will change again. I'll have to adjust this again. But now we can then just focus on him. We still see there's a little bit of her here. And we can sort of read her body language still as this shot goes on. All right. Let me lock this back up. And this edit may work a little, may not. You know, it's hard to tell. This is all sort of part of the process of sort of playing with this. So right now, in terms of our poses, where I have gone, let me just go to Jules here. So we have a sort of initial starting pose, sort of casually, sort of leaning forward. Let's read a question here. Anything stop me from making my own? Oh yeah. All right. So there's a comment here from Highlight Animations, and he's saying that the only thing stopping me from making my own non-MC animation, which I assume stands for Minecraft, is that you can't rig well and you can't weight your character's bones correctly. I definitely understand this. This was a big part of my frustration when I was actually in college back in 1924. And because I was studying animation, but my skills for like modeling or my skills for like rigging were pretty basic. And this was a long time ago, so the tools for that stuff was not as developed as it is now. And so when I then later went and did Animation Mentor, it was like amazing because you have all these great rigs. These are all rigs from Animation Mentor. And you don't have to worry about like rigging and you know, maybe some basic modeling just to like make a prop or something here and there. Like I made his glasses, right, which is like no big deal. I just made a simple series of shapes, stuck them together, um, and and you don't have to worry about the rigging and so forth. So yeah, like if you can model, like that's a huge asset. Like I wish that my modeling was way better than it is, and you know I think that especially if like you get an animation or visual effects like degree. Because if I remember correctly, I think you're in high school maybe. Um, the like when you first get a job, you'll be like a generalist or something. Someone that's like looking to like, hey, make characters and rig them or whatever. But also in terms of like rigging, like you know, when I made my short film, like a big part of that was that I didn't want to spend a lot of time like paying people to make rigs and bones and weight all that stuff and do blend shapes, and I didn't want to have the time to do it myself. So I said like, let me just work with like a sphere, and work with a cube, and like a pyramid, and keep it like really simple and focus on like trying to tell a story and just work on animation. How do I make those characters come to life? All right, cool. 10th grade. That's a good year. I'm going to jump back to the shot real quick. So here's this sort of opening pose. In the reference footage, I do this thing where the hand sort of comes up, like you know, I did the actor thing. You know, no big deal. I'm really cool. So that's sort of where this second part of this pose is happening, is just to me start to bring that up, just sort of start to feel that, and that'll get developed more. And then when it cuts to her and she says, you know, why no glass? That's what I'm working on here, and you can see this pose happening now. Really, in the last video or last stream, was trying to focus on like really get that like expression in her face and sort of get the body language and the weight, but like that expression, like you know, it's like I should be spending my time getting that right now, because I'm going to only continue to refine that. So that's where we are right now. This initial pose, you know, there's a little shift here. I'm working on this, and I'll obviously continue to be building on this every night from now on until we're done. Okay. All right. Yes, that's cool if you gotta go. That's totally fine. You should get sleep. You should do good in school. You know, study hard, get good grades. Definitely. School is important. Thanks. All right. Well, when you have to go, that's cool. I'm just going to keep on working, and I'll probably do another 10, 15 minutes or so, probably until this. I've been doing this about 40 minutes now, so usually hit an hour. And then, yeah, I'll call it a night and do more tomorrow. All right. Cool. So I'm going to focus on these hands. Really need to get these thumbs now. All this will, of course, continue to get refined every day as I, you know, continue to build out each pose more. Let's look at how what I'm doing in the reference footage. So let me delete this key, because this is I really like this hand pose. That's what I was sort of focusing on. Sort of see like, what am I doing? How does it look in the render view? And you know, how is it looking in the perspective view? Like, it might look good in the render view, but can she actually do that pose? And that's a good question sometimes, because later when you go to render it, if you haven't thought that, you're going to be like, why do I have really weird shadows happening? And why does it look like they're floating? Or surprisingly, that's something you have to think about a little bit. You can cheat it for sure. And you can see, like, in posing these thumbs, I'm actually starting to bring these thumbs a little bit over to screen right. And one of the reasons Super nice comment about making some spare assets. Not necessary right now. Maybe at some point. I'll definitely keep that in mind, and we can talk about that more if that comes up. Cool. Thanks. All right. So, but yeah. So I want to make sure that like the thumbs here are legible. Let me turn off the like if her thumb was behind her hand and you can't read that, you want to be able to see that stuff. And that's sort of when you're thinking about like pantomime or, how do things read in a silhouette phase. That's why, I'm a little bit nervous about these hands being sort of in front of the face. Like, how do I make space to make sure that they read? And that may actually result in me having to slightly rotate my camera angle a little bit, sort of bring her hands, instead of being directly in front of her, to sort of bring her a little bit this way. All right, cool. Thank you, Highlight Animation, for watching, and have a good night, have a good sleep, and do well in school tomorrow. All right. Cool, all. All right, so just focusing on the thumbs. And if you look in the reference, they're rotated a little bit, so I might try to get a bit more twist in that. Sort of bring them around. And I'll try to twist that from the base where I can. Yeah. But also sort of like whatever appropriate other joints in there. Cool. I'm liking how that's starting to read. I wish these hands were maybe a little flatter, but I'm not going to stress too much about that right now. Select all. Key everything. All right. So this is really then so this goes 154. Oh, spinning beach ball. Spinning beach ball. Don't crash. Don't crash. Oh, got nervous. Better save. Okay. Okay.
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass? Just real quick, can I ask why no glass? Just real quick, can I ask why no glass? Just real quick.
Okay, so just real quick. So she sort of leans into this. So maybe I'll get the sort of bring her in here now. So and everything sort of comes in here. So this is actually going to be all right. So I'm going to rotate her from the initial hips. see about her spine. How does her spine react to that? So oh, I see what my problem is here. Sorry, I was getting an error on my keyframes, but it was because the oh, that's funny. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna select everything here for her. Key it. Go to my hands. Select all. Key that. Just make sure that everything is got a frame here. Just do some quick spot checking. Great. So then now when we come into this frame, frame 88, now is where her body will rotate. So I had made sort of a bit of a error there. Almost overwrote the animation I'd made. So I'm going to pull it back actually a tiny bit. And now I'm just going to toggle these frames. Let's see. And how does her spine react? I think that the bottom parts here, so if I'm here, it's very slight sort of inverted bend. It sort of counters the hips. But I think this top, hey man! Hi Ryan! Yeah! Alright. This is super cool. Alright, so I think that this top is going to bend in a little bit so that she feels like it's driving from her shoulders, and I'm going to then adjust her shoulders. We turn off this Jules character. I'm going to bring her shoulders in a little bit. Where's my shoulder control? There we go. Bring it in and up because it's tense. She's got more tension. She's pulling that tension right into a nice tension headache. Let me actually grab these controllers and pull them together. So let's bring these. Oh, they're offset controllers. No. I'm going to come forward. Forward and up. Nope, I'm going to do them separate. All right. Up. Bring this up. Start to see. I want to bring this a little bit more forward. Same sort of here. So if I look at this frame, you can see how her shoulders are pulling up a little bit. And, oh yeah, there's a mega delay. There's at least a 10 to 15 second delay, and I don't even know if, like, how, like, in sync. Let me go to this. Look, I can edit. Yeah, I have no idea like how in sync this is. I suspect not that great. Okay, so, all right, where was I? Yeah, Ryan, you're here sort of at the tail end. I'm sort of almost done with tonight's live stream. But, you know, this is fun. And for anyone who's watching this on the replay and doesn't know who I'm talking to or why, Ryan is a good buddy of mine, and we used to be in a band together. The best band! And I'm really excited to know that he's here. So let's see, what do I do in the reference footage? What do I do with my head? So I'm trying to see. It just sort of comes forward. Don't really do much craziness. And then I'm gonna just swing these elbows out a little bit. Okay. Oh, cool. Audio matches video almost perfectly. That's great. I tried to fix that. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. You know, hey, if anyone's watching this on a replay and is reading Ryan's comment that says how I should get paid, you know, feel free to head over to the link to Patreon in the description below and chip in $1 or $2 or more, and you know, be a really cool person, because I would love that. All right, so I think that this is going to be our progress for tonight, is to get this. Although I should. I don't want to focus too much on the face, because I'll be doing that when I do the lip sync. I just wanted to get that key pose. I think that's going to basically stay the same. But hey, so just to recap for anyone joining us, so here is the shot with the initial reference footage, and then I will let me move my face here. Hi. Okay. Bye. And so here it is again with the audio, the reference footage. So I'll play this 3 times.
Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore.
Okay, so that was our reference. And let me turn on Jules. Hey, Jules. And as I've said before, the reference is like I just throw out a bunch of ideas, you know, and there's usually more stuff there than I would want. And I try to edit that down to say, like, what are just the key elements, what are the key poses. You know, I'm doing a lot of things with my hands like that. I'm going to simplify that, and sort of what's the minimal amount that I need to sort of communicate those ideas and not be over animating or overacting. Just make it feel natural, like that person or that character is sort of just being themselves. So now I'll just play this. We're still in our early blocking pass, so there's not a lot of poses here, but we're starting to get a sense of how this is coming together. So let me go back to the scene. Let me hide my face, and we'll play this a couple times just so we can get a sense.
Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing. Works for.
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. Don't have to clean them anymore. Do the actor thing.
All right.
Works for.
Just real quick.
Get this thing to stop.
Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out.
Okay, so if I can get the Maya to respond here, it's sort of still playing, and I can't get it to stop. So 1 second. Cool. All right. So yeah, this is where we are right now with this shot, and you can see you know, what's sort of happening and what our progress is. So I think tomorrow night is this shot here. Hey, this guy. I'm going to really be focusing on this sort of third shot of the sequence and what is his pose and poses. And then I'm going to go back to this very first shot and do a pass to really get his face to be nice and strong, because I haven't really done a pose for his face yet. I haven't done his hands, and sort of revisit anything that might need any other little adjustments. But I'm really happy with how she's starting to read with these just two sort of key poses here. It's really the same pose, and this is one of the things I was talking before, is like I don't want to like try to make her do like it's not like she's going like, oh, why no glass, you know. I found that like with myself when I first started, that was like a big thing I needed to learn to like edit and like just hit a pose and just like work that pose. So that's my goal with this, is to keep it really simple. All right, so thank you to everyone who's popped in and out and during this stream tonight and said hi and all this fun stuff. All right, I am going to go for now. If you like this video, please like it. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. Leave comments if you're watching the replay. And as I mentioned before, I am on Patreon, and there will be a little button that'll come up somewhere around here at some point if you're watching this at a future date. Just click that, and then you can go over to Patreon. Give me a buck or not. Okay. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Bye.